Welcome to India, the land of over 1 billion people. Right now we are standing in the entrance to in Coimbatore, outside Coimbatore, the Agape house where Paul Rajan is in charge here. We're standing at the gate. When we open this gate, it leads to the road that will then lead to Coimbatore, which is that direction. You'll notice the guardhouse, they have someone stationed there at all times that will be able to open the gate when anyone comes in. They do keep it locked because remember, we're in India, it's not America. They don't have quite as much freedom as we do in America. To my right, your left, you'll notice they have a well and then a holding tank. They do some of their washing there. When we get up into the orphanage, we'll see another well where they do more of they actually use that for drinking and that kind of thing. So this is their property you are seeing all around you. It's surrounded by this fence over to our left, and then where you see those trees, that's about where the boundary is on our right. As you look at the fence on the left, you'll notice that it isn't wood like most fence posts are in America because of the problems they have with termites and other things, as well as they're using these cement posts because they're stronger, because there are many elephants throughout the mountains that will come and actually break down through the fence, and we'll see that here in a little bit when we get up here. But it is a beautiful, beautiful place. It is very warm, and they never see snow, and so it gets quite hot. Some days are warmer than others. But as we come up here to our right, the people who owned this property before the Rajans purchased it to build this orphanage, they were planning on cultivating the land. And so they dug a well, but they dug it by hand. And so we're not going to go over there, but if you were to go over there, you would see a square. It's about 12 feet by 12 feet, and you can't even see the bottom. It goes down almost 40 feet, but it's dry now, so they're not able to use it. So they put a fence around so that no one falls into that very deep hole. As we're getting closer to the orphanage, you'll notice that we see 3 cows over here. These are the cows that the orphanage owns, and we'll see in a little bit where they stay most of the time, but they often let them out here each morning and they'll graze, and so this is kind of like their pasture land over here. As we're coming up toward the gate, when we come over here to the left, we see that the fence has been broken down, and as I said before, it's because of the elephants. The elephants are quite nasty creatures. They're not the kind ones like you often see in the zoo or at the circus. They are very mean and they break down the fence, which is the reason why you'll see that the orphanage is surrounded by this wall. So as we come up to the gate, you'll notice that on the gate it says Agape House. And so why don't you join me as we tour this orphanage? As we come in the compound here, you'll notice that on the ground it's kind of broken up. There's not much grass. It's because they're still under construction here. They're still planning on building things. Actually, when we came, they weren't even quite finished with our rooms, and they were just finished it the day we came, and they're continuing to work on that second floor, which we'll see in a little bit. Over here, you probably have noticed that there are holes in the ground. The reason for the holes is because they plan to plant trees there that will provide shade from this hot sun that's coming down. Just also help to protect the whole thing when they have trees around. As we come to the orphanage, which we'll go in a little bit, you'll see by the steps there's a tarp covering a generator. That's what they use as their backup power. As we look at the side of the orphanage, we see that there's pipes on the outside. The reason is because they build the orphanage, and there's just straight cement walls, and then after it's all built, then they add the piping, the plumbing, and the electrical work, and they just put it right on the outside. And so we'll be touring that in a little bit. As we continue to come up this way, we see the first building. It's a smaller building. This is where they have chickens. I guess we would call it our chicken house. They have 1 rooster and 3 hens. The rooster has been very good about making sure that we don't sleep too long. Every morning he crows. I think the earliest we've heard him has been 5 o'clock, long before daylight. But they just have him in here You might be able to see a couple of the hens in there if you go in there. And this next building we have is a multi-purpose building. They have many uses for it. The first part of it is where the watchman, the guy who guards the gate out there, he stays sometimes, especially he stays there when the elephants come down because they are looking for water, and so to protect himself he can't stay out there in the guardhouse, he has to stay in here. The next two are a place where they store their food for their cows. It is called, what they're actually feeding their cows is actually sorghum, just like we grow in the United States. So they have it stacked all up in here, and you see it all in there. The next place is where they actually have the cows. Right now the cows, as you saw, are outside, but there still is a calf in here right now. Nice little calf, and even lets you pet it. Yeah, nice calf. You'll notice that along the side there's hooks where they can tie up the cow to be able to make sure the cow doesn't run away each night when they come in. Right over here is a pile of sand that they used as they were constructing this orphanage. They mixed the sand with mortar and built all the walls. Everything's made out of cement. These next two places with the gate is where they store their two-wheelers. Here in India, they don't call them motorcycles or dirt bikes. They call them two-wheelers. So you see a couple two-wheelers up in here. And it's also where they sometimes store Paul's vehicle when he drives from his house. They'll park it in here and shut the gates. And other times, they even store the rickshaw, which right now is parked under the shade tree. Josh and I actually got an opportunity to ride in this very rickshaw earlier today. It was quite an experience. So as we continue down this building here, we see that there's another smaller room. This is where they house all of their cement bags. And so at one time it was completely full of cement bags, but since they've been building it, there's only a couple cement bags left over. And then we have another room that's empty right now, but they can use it for storage and all kinds of different things like that. As we come over here, we see this is their well. They drilled this well not too long ago. It's an 800-foot well. It goes down 800 feet. But even it goes down so deep, but yet Paul said we can't drink it because we still didn't want us to get sick from that water, so we still drink bottled water. You'll notice all the pipes going every which way. One of the pipes, of course, is going up on top of the house, which we'll explain towards the end how that works to provide water for the orphanage. And it goes over to the different holding tanks. Right up here, you see the ground is kind of cleared away. Paul has in mind to put up another building where he will instruct the boys on how to maintain and keep up their two-wheelers, what we would call our motorcycles or scooters. And so that's his plan to do right there. To our right, we see a small garden. That's a banana tree, that tallest thing back there, the banana tree. Here's where they wash their plates after each meal, as we see this lady doing right now. When it's time to eat, as we do 3 meals a day, you come here, the first thing you do is you come and wash your hands over here. They have 4 spigots. You push your hands like this, and the water comes out, and you just wash your hands just like that. The trick is, this one's a tricky one. If you don't do it correctly, you're going to get sprayed. You have to cover the top and the bottom at the same time and do it that way. So then once you've washed your hands, you come over this direction. And as you can see, as you look at the floor here, there's all kinds of sandals. The reason is, in India, you always take your shoes off whenever you enter a building. So let's take our shoes off and check it out. This is the kitchen. Now, as Paul has told us, the kitchen is not a place for men. So I'm going to let Joy explain the kitchen.
Hi everybody, this is the dining hall where we eat. There's the cement tables and benches that everybody sits on and eat. Right now the men from Marissa are eating. Over here is where we usually sit and eat from their tent meals. This is where the food is served from. And as you can see over here, there are plates where the children get their plates, where they line up to get their food. Over here is the kitchen, where they make all the food. As you can see, there's a propane stove there where they cook the rice, and then they dump it into a strainer, which you can see over here. rice out of that. And then when you're done eating, you come back outside and you use your hand, your right hand to eat. So when you're done, you come and you wash your hands once again, where Joshua showed you earlier. And then you put your shoes back on. You wash your hands, and then the girls just dry their hands on their skirt or their sari, and then they head off back to the orphanage.
Thank you, Joy. All right, we'll continue on. As we come down this way, we'll once again notice the garden. They have some different things planted there. It almost looks like an eggplant. I'm not a botanist, so I don't know for sure. As we continue on down this way, you'll see that there's pipes going every way. As we look over here to your right, we see a holding tank, which is the place where they have the water that they then use for their kitchen, all the water they go through in the kitchen. As we're walking down this way to our right is the orphanage, which we'll go in a little bit. Right in front of us, we see this smooth stone. The smooth stone is where they do their laundry. Often each child will bring out their clothes, lay them out, and they'll wash it off. As you see here, they have water here to wash, a couple buckets. They have blue soap for the boys and pink soap for the girls. They just take their soap and scrub their clothes real good and rinse it off. And then they hang it up here on the clothesline. Now see, the clothespin is American thing, not an Indian thing. So they just hang it over. As we continue on down this way, we see the baptism. You might remember 2 years ago when Pastor Ike was here that he baptized in here, and once again there's going to be some more baptisms in here later on this week, so we'll have some more pictures and things of that. As we continue this way, you'll notice off to our left that there's a playground. There's a couple sets of swings and a slide. Children often like to play over there and do that kind of thing. This whole area they've kind of cleared so that the children can play, whether it's cricket or whatever they want to play. You'll notice the two poles right there, those are the volleyball. They string a net across for a volleyball net. So that's pretty much covers the whole grounds here at the orphanage. So why don't we go inside and check it out and see what it looks like inside. As they were building this, one man started to build it, but he charged way too much. And so once he got started and just built a little bit, Paul said, don't come back. And so it just sat there. Then he found a Christian man who was able to come and has continued to build everything. He's built everything here. He's engineered it. He's put it all together. And so let's check out his fine craftsmanship. As we come up the stairs, to our right here is where the boys sleep. Let's go ahead and check it out. As we come in the door, you see that there's boys everywhere. This is where they sleep. They sleep on the beds. And right now they have them stacked here, so they have a room because we have all the men coming to the Rissa. To our right here are all the cubby holes where they can put in their individual stuff. So this is where the boys stay each day. And as you can see, they love to be around us, and we've been having all kinds of fun with each one of them, and they love cameras. Their picture taking. So we will continue out here. We'll go down here to our left.
Let's see.
Remember to put your shoes on when you come out of the room. As we continue on down this way, to our right, the restroom. They have a sink to wash your hands and use the restroom. They have showers to the right, and so that is in there. As we come down the steps, we come to one door, and this door and these next one and the final door all lead into their multi-purpose room. This is the room that you remember from pictures from 2 years ago where Pastor Wright taught the fractorium classes, and it's where we've been spending quite a bit of time with the orphans, and we'll continue to spend quite a bit of time. So let's go in and check it out. Does anybody know who this guy is? Oh, look at that.
It's a foreign object.
Yeah, he doesn't belong here. He's white, just like us. But yeah, this is the room. You notice over here we have the mats, which is what they they spread out over the floor. You'll remember from 2 years ago when Pastor Ike was teaching, they had tables and they sat on chairs. But this year they're having so many men that they're going to have to put mats all over the floor. And so the children demonstrate how they roll out the mats, and then once they're all rolled out, then they just sit right down like this. We're ready to listen or sing or do whatever we want to do. So we can always have fun with them. We're still practicing our tom. So this is the room. But notice if you can look up those fans. Those fans are very important. We love those fans.
When the electric.
And when the electric works, that is exactly right.
Why they're not working right now.
I forgot to mention that the electric isn't quite like it is here in America. Almost every day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. the electric goes off. And actually it's been off for quite a few hours right now, which is why it's a little bit warmer. So as we come over here, we're starting to get into more of the rooms. And look, there's Ladine. We'll let her give us a tour.
Okay, over here we have Grace's room, one of the house mothers here. And on this side we have Lakshmi's room. She was baptized 2 years ago in a video. And back over here we have the Rajan family's room. They stay here every once in a while, once a month I think he said. So that's where they stay. And if we go upstairs we'll see our guest rooms. Up here you can see the window. Beautiful at nighttime, you can see the stars and the moon. The kids usually don't come to the guest rooms very much, but since they're working on it, they've been coming up a lot more. We have rugs in the working guest room, so obviously they're still working on that one. And take off my shoes. And this is the girls' guest room. We have our closets, so one side for each of us, our beds, and the bathroom. We have a western toilet and a shower all in the same room, so we don't have a shower curtain or a wall, just a toilet, a drain, and a shower. And lock that door. And then across the hallway, we have Josh, and Pastor Ike's room. So we will see that now.
I guess I'll give you a tour of that since that's where we're staying. As we enter the door, we remind ourselves to take off our sandals, shoes, or whatever we have on. This is the beautiful room that they have prepared for us. We have our beds here. I'm sleeping in the first bed. Josh is sleeping on the next one with that nice pillow. And Pastor Ike is sleeping on that bed over there. You'll notice in the windows that there's a couple bouquet of flowers. When the Rajans, Paul and Sarah, picked us up at the airport, they all presented all 5 of us with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. We didn't know how else to preserve them, so we thought we'd at least put them on for display for a little while. And just like in the girls' bedroom, we also have a restroom which we're able to make use of. It's a nice restroom. They were finishing up. Actually, that night we got there, they had just set the toilet, so we couldn't use the restroom that first night. But this is where we've been taking showers and doing that kind of thing. So it's a very nice room. It's very comfortable. Once again, the fans, which have been very helpful to keep the heat down, as well as the breeze that comes through the windows. So I'll get one. As we come out this direction, we see that the second floor is constructed much like the first floor was constructed. In fact, it's very similar. They just built it right on top. And so as we walk down this direction, once again we see that we have a multi-purpose room that they have built. This is still under construction, like I mentioned earlier. They're still putting it together. As we come in here, you see that there is a bed. That bed is actually where the engineer has been sleeping. Ravi is his name. He is the Christian that we mentioned earlier. So he's been in charge of putting this all together. Paul's idea is for this room not only to be used for me, he will actually be teaching the kids up here while the men are having practorium downstairs tomorrow on Wednesday and Thursday. But it's also the girls how to sew. And there's many other uses as well for this room that we have here. So we put our sandals on. Some of the children don't wear any sandals. We played a game the other day and we went to get their sandals and realized that some of those children don't have any sandals. I'm guessing they don't have the money to buy them, but their feet are pretty tough, not as weak as our American feet are. So as we come up the stairs here, once again, we see another restroom. It's almost identical to the one that is downstairs that the boys use. This will be the girls' restroom that they will use. And then as on the first floor, we also have here at the end, we have what will be the girls' bedroom. And it looks very identical. We see some girls and a young man mopping the floor, trying to clean it up. Because this is where some of the men from Arissa and they're traveling from all over will be sleeping. They'll just be sleeping right on the floors. So the plan is by the end of June that the girls will be in here. There'll be beds, those beds that we saw stacked below, will be in here spread out, and the girls will be able to put their stuff in the cubby holes. As you see right now, there's all kinds of different construction things because they're still working on just trying to put it together. So as we come back outside here, we'll notice as we look off into the distance the beautiful view that we have from this place. There's palm trees, coconut trees everywhere. You can see for quite a few miles. It's beautiful scenery. And it's nice. We have the roof over top of us providing us shade to keep us a little bit cooler. But even though we do have shade and have a really good view, one of our favorite spots, the five of us, Pastor Ike and Josh and Joy and Ladine and I, for the favorite spot that we've enjoyed most has been actually up on the roof, which is the final place that we will go here in a little bit. Up on the roof we've been doing all kinds of things together. The roof is, the staircase for the roof is right before we get to our bedrooms. So when we get to the bedrooms, we'll go up the stairs and come up this way. Our friend Christopher is leading the way, so let's follow. As we come up the stairs, we once again see some more construction pieces that have been put together. And if you'll notice, here to our right, we have that rebar coming out of the concrete. My guess is that they've done that so that if they ever plan to add on another staircase, they've already got their base to do that. We're going to open the latch and we're now outside. And we have an even better view. So we're going to let the ladies explain this up here.
Hi! This up here is one of our favorite areas. Every morning we come up here and do our devotions and write in our journals and talk and pray. And I know quite a few times we've sang and praised the Lord up here in His wonderful creation. It's just beautiful looking out over the countryside. And today we had some visitors. This is Lakshmi's little girl. Another one of the boys came up with us. But normally we're up here by ourselves in the morning, and it's usually a lot cooler than this in the morning. But right now it's in the middle of the afternoon, so it's very warm up here. But Ladine's going to show you some of the other things.
This is the middle part of the roof, and this is where they will have all their bigger meetings where more people will be able to fit in the cooler days. And over here we can see the back of the orphanage with the chicken coops and everything that you saw earlier, but this is just from an aerial view, so we have the kitchen over there and the beautiful mountains. And if you come over here you can see the front of the orphanage with the playground and the baptistry. So you can tell they have lines in the sand for games and things like that. So then we'll come up to the most top part of the roof, and over here, these are here in case they want to add a roof or something like that to this part. And Joshua will explain what the water pumps are used for.
Yes. Right here we have two empty tanks. As we've been driving through the cities and the towns, we've seen them being sold at different places. They're going to eventually install these, but right now they do have this larger tank, which they store the water. When we saw that 800-foot well, there's a pipe that comes up here and comes in directly into here and dumps in here. And now, once this gets filled, it then provides the pressure, which then goes through all the pipes, enabling us to have pressure to have the sinks and the flush the toilets and all those different kinds of things. And it's not something that's just used here at the orphanage. As you drive through, you'll see these kind of containers on all kinds of houses, even modern houses and modern things like that. So this has been a tour of the Agape house here in Coimbatore, India. We trust that you have enjoyed it, and it will give you an opportunity, a better understanding to continue to pray for the great work that God is doing here in India.